Good morning, everyone. I think it's a bit loud, or am I talking loud? Welcome to Snap Connections, Connected Retail Session. Super, super excited to have you all here. I know it's pretty far away, so thank you so much for making it this morning. And can I just say, how amazing is it to meet face to face? Can everyone just seriously give me a clap? I just love it. I really hope this will remain the case, because honestly, seeing so many of you today face-to-face was probably the highlight of the past couple of months for me. So Snap Connections is basically a series of events we're hosting here at Expo Dubai. As we're getting to the end of Expo, which kind of makes me a little bit sad looking around and thinking, oh my God, this is kind of done, but I'm sure they're going to do something amazing with it. We are basically bringing thought leaders like yourself, product experts, people who understand technology, consumer behavior, to kind of connect the mind to create a better future. So today, we're here to discuss connected retails, which is more specific about consumer behavior and shift that's happening within retail. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Farima, and I have been leading retail e-commerce industry here at Snap Dubai for the past 5 years. Me, alongside with my wonderful team, support you and consult you on a daily basis how to use Snapchat to acquire customers, to make sure that you drive those sales and also foster loyalty. And I know, honestly, hats off to you, the past probably couple of years has been super challenging. For the past 12 years, my experience in tech and advertising, I don't think I've ever seen such a fast pace of transformation. I know most of you are going through major transformation at your organizations and trying to really catch up to see what will happen with that consumer mindset shift in the future, and how can you future-proof your business. So we're actually here today to exactly cover that and what we think is changing and is here to stay. So first I will tap on to kind of our finding and what we think is really happening and here to stay, and then I'll pass it on to my wonderful colleagues who will take you through how to supercharge your retail strategy on Snapchat and how to use Snapchat commerce products, and also some exciting developments within our commerce products, which will then give you some direction on how to build your strategy around for the future year. And also lastly, I'm super excited and thrilled to have our dear partner, Ryan, who's the Chief E-commerce Officer at Chalhoub, to come on stage and have a fireside chat and just discuss some of the ideas and inspire us of what are some of the things that Chalhoub Group is doing to transform their business for the new consumer. I know this sounds like a broken record, but I'm going to say it again. Pandemic shifted the way consumers behave, and the e-commerce acceleration has been incredible. I think we're all excited about that, but also a bit nervous. We obviously looked at 2018 data, and in GCC, $26.9 million transaction happened within this region. And now we're projecting that 2022, that will reach to 34.6 billion. This is obviously more retail related. And actually based on some consultancy research that we've seen, they're predicting that this growth will keep happening 20% year on year for the next 5 years. So I think it's given that we're all ready, that we have to set up the right e-commerce business for our organizations. But most importantly, what makes us nervous is that technology just changes things right now so rapidly that we have a problem catching up with it. And yes, tech can be disruptive, but also can create amazing, powerful opportunities. It's an enabler for all you marketers to completely change and do something that it was never done before. So, just like you, we're trying to stay on top of the curve as well. And we know that commerce is a huge opportunity for us at Snap. So we've been doing a lot of analysis of consumer behaviors. We've run multiple global retail research projects, and we've been looking at those behaviors very closely. And our conclusion is there are 4 things that's happening in this region for the shoppers that's going to change the game, but also here to stay. And I would say these will be the areas which we suggest our marketers to focus on. Obviously, you're all more experts than us, and I would love to hear your feedback, but this is what we're seeing in terms of the changes that's happening. The first is the connected consumer journey. We traditionally have a physical store, and e-commerce platform, then mobile added to it, and we're still trying to look at these areas completely segregated. The reality is all of those are blending now. The consumer doesn't care which channel they're consuming content or completing a transaction or what they're doing. They want a complete frictionless journey. And there's one thing between these three areas of your business is shared by the consumer, their mobile phone. As simple as that. That device is always with them, wherever they go. And we know that based on tracking locations, we know that behavior. What do they do with their mobile phones? They take a picture of a product, they share it with their friends, get their opinion, check the product ranking, understand the better prices while they're in your store. They also transact on e-commerce and purchase the final product while they try the product in your store. So that is completely blending. The second area of the change we're seeing is the growth of social commerce. I think our region was a bit underdeveloped previously, or maybe simply as simple as trust or not having enough shoppable ads within the social ecosystem. But that's changing. The likes of Snapchat, Facebook, and all the other platforms, we are creating more opportunities to provide those frictionless, seamless shopping experiences within social media for the consumers. So that's growing rapidly. The third part is the GCC retail sector is now expecting to experience and welcome a lot of smart retail ideas, such as AI, VR, and AR. And I think that is where most of our passion is, AR. Because we think that's going to completely transform the business and retail consumer experiences in the next coming years. And lastly, we all know that we have to have a brand purpose, but more than ever, this is becoming important for two reasons. One, cross-market brands are coming to our region. They realize the potential here, so they're coming and kind of putting their effort into lower funnel advertising, getting a little bit into that whole price competition, and really trying to make that whatever their global success was replicated here, which could potentially work. So it's putting some of those legacy brands and brands that were already very much successful in the region at risk. And the second fold, which is probably most of whoever is dealing with e-commerce right now, painful situation, is the change of data. Obviously, IDFA, privacy-centric customer data, in addition to that, implementing the same scenario, is putting all of us in a bit of a tricky situation where we kind of have to revamp our marketing strategy and approach and how we use consumer data. Let me just touch on a little bit more on the first bit. So we ran, as I mentioned, a few research projects, and we found out that actually, interesting enough, mobile is not only growing the digital transactions and digital kind of sales or experiences happening on mobile phones, but also 64% of our Saudi customers say now they cannot go shopping without their mobile phones. So that means their mobile is always with them, and this is an active journey. In fact, 75% of the millennials said, the shopper millennials in Saudi, said that they will be using it actively to do some of those behaviors I previously mentioned. Also, 3 out of 5 said that they share product images and product links and whatever they like with their friends at all times. But what's really eye-opening also is that a lot of new behaviors and new tech out there, for example, augmented reality, is basically becoming kind of your storefront. So people are trying on products, interacting with your brand before they even step into your store or app. So that behavior starts even outside of the environment where you know and can track customer data. Within that mobile growth and mobile kind of behavior, the fastest growing area is actually social commerce. The reason for that is simply because previously in Asia, we witnessed a massive growth and boom of social commerce. A little bit later, with delay, was adopted in US, Europe, etc. But this region, we all know that our consumers love creators. They're influenced by friends, family, and people that they're a big fan of. They continuously consume social media, so very high time spent, and communicate through social media, especially in markets like Saudi. This is a major systematic change for how things are happening. So 63%, which I thought was really eye-opening, 63% of the shopper actually think that they will be discovering, planning, and intend to buy on social media more than search and marketplaces. So I'm sure we focus a lot on our search campaigns and marketplaces and how much our product's discoverable, but 63% think already that they're actually discovering within social media more than they will go and actively search. Also, behaviors like shoppable AR or catalogs or social pages is creating this new phenomenon where people, normal people, like communities like us, are creators. They are your creators now. So 81% of Snapchatters believe that they are personally AR creators because they either use existing assets and create their own story out of it, or they go and grab a piece of AR and interact with it, or even create it on our platform, such as Web Builder, which any one of you can access and for free create. On augmented reality specifically, I'm going to just basically put it in a simple way. 10, 15 years ago, when we went to our marketers and said PC and web is becoming a big deal, you need to kind of have an e-commerce platform. You have to be there because that's where people are starting to spend time. A lot of marketers said that's a very small friction of my business. I just don't have the bandwidth, resources, budget, and investment to do that, right? That's okay because the adoption was a bit slower. So people caught up, some didn't, and still catching up. And then the mobile marketing hit everyone. And it was like, oh, now you need to have a mobile store, an app, and be on mobile. Oh, no, that's too complicated, too costly, don't have the resources. Some people, again, missed out. And then now we're at the era, which we think is probably the greatest and fastest adoption is going to be augmented reality. And this is based on multiple data that we collected with Deloitte, which we're happy to share with you, that our consumers are not only saying that they're spending on AR and considering products on AR, they're actually adopting and demanding AR. So when we look at that growth, what's scary is that actually the AR adoption is now 4 times faster than the PC and web adoption and 2 times faster than a mobile adoption. So that means it gives you less time to actually figure out how should you capitalize on your AR strategy. And when you obviously don't use a tool that you can reach millions of people, it's an uncluttered, untapped opportunity and space, then you always will have to start playing catch up. So it's not about should I start AR, it's about how do I start my AR strategy. Just to give you an idea, from the beginning, almost a decade ago, at Snap we looked at, obviously, we're now a super app, but our app, the core of it was camera. Right? So we started at Snap, and we said the core is camera. Now I would say Evan and Bobby. I just kind of followed the fun. So they started with the app, and they said, camera is the center of our app. And this is where people can visually communicate. Then AR technology was added, which it brought entertainment, fun, and that's what all Snapchat was back then about, communication, entertainment, and fun. Slowly by time, we realized that AR can be actually used as a utility. So people adopted to the behavior. It wasn't monetized. We weren't really pushing people to adopt. They were naturally adopted to that behavior. And it became actually a vital tool for them to communicate and also use as utility for information. With the recent changes that we've seen, brands like Makeup Forever has used this tool as a technology where they can bring thousands of shades of cosmetics to try on their faces in the most realistic way and directly from that environment purchase that product. Same as putting a pair of sneakers on. But what's interesting is that these campaigns or these type of activations has shown us that AR is now getting you almost one step close to the checkout point. So AR is no longer just an experiment or immersiveness, but actually it's right at your checkout point. And also, with a try-on factor, for example, trying a pair of sneakers, we've seen that the return actually decreases by 45%. So that is a 2.6 billion Saudi riyals in Saudi last year of returns, which can be avoided if product try-on is actually available to customers before they make an online purchase. Lastly, what we all know, again, consumers now really demand brand purpose. So everything you do across your channels, you have to have one purpose that is clear. What does your brand stand for? And have a meaningful connection. If that meaningful connection is not there, you literally are pushed down to the funnel to compete with tons of retailers that probably offer the same similar products, but in a very cluttered competitive landscape. So obviously that is resulting in a lot of pressure for your lower margins because you have to start from the scratch and have that brand purpose before understanding how to go in that lower funnel war. And also the emotional meaning for people really builds that loyalty and fosters that loyalty where they remain with you for a long term. But what is happening with IDFA changes is really disrupting that as well, because previously you could understand your customers a lot better in real time. If I went and added the products into my shopping cart, you know exactly, oh, okay, well, she's so close in lower funnel to convert and purchase that and complete that purchase. That's no longer happening. So that mid-funnel to upper funnel activation, building that brand resonance, that brand love is becoming even more important than before. And also working with social platforms where social commerce and mobile commerce is growing rapidly and consumers are adopting, give you the access to those type of first-party signal from the platform side to really understand how they're interacting with your brand, which then results in that purchase down the line. So just to wrap it up and pass it on to the very next exciting session, 4 pillars. We need to start looking channel agnostic, mobile at core. And we're here to obviously support that process when it comes to Snapchat audiences and consumers. Social commerce is going to be the biggest, fastest growing area of our retail business in the upcoming years. And there's so much opportunity there, and we are developing very fast in that area as well. Augmented reality, key, no longer a nice tool to have, a must tool to have. And also building brand purpose is becoming more important than ever. Thank you.